we have made it to the bridal shower.
Yes.
Is that where we're at? Anything you want to say to all the ladies that are
All the
there?
ladies, thank you so much for being a part of this thing and throwing it. How amazing and how cool, and it's so awesome to be able to be honored by you guys, but also for you guys to bless Emma and I through this. So thank you so much for pouring into our lives, and we're just so excited. So thanks. All right, first question is, where did you first meet Emma, and what was your first impression? The very first time that I laid eyes on Emma was actually at the BJ's restaurant in La Mesa, Grossmont. It was the first day that I moved here. It was actually a going away party. I went up and met her. First impression, she introduced herself with a handshake, and I had no clue really even what her context was, and I was happy that there was someone close to my age that was at Journey or around Journey. So that was my very first impression of Emma. The second question, when was your first date and what did you do? This is up for debate between both Emma and I. She will say the first date that we had was one that was in November, and it was one that we went to a park that was right down the street from where I was living, and I brought tea and all the favorite snacks that she told me that she was bringing, and we just pretty much just laid and looked at the stars in that park, and I explained the whole Star Wars story to her, but also we just talked about life. I would have said it was probably a couple of times that we hung out before then, but they wouldn't have been considered dates, I guess, but we were by ourselves and no one else was with us. So I call them dates, but I'm definitely going to call that night in November where we got Wendy's after service and then went to the park in El Cajon that we stargazed at. All right, the next question is, what is her favorite thing about me? Her favorite thing about me, is this a physical attribute, or is this a personal attribute, or an everything?
It's open for your own interpretation.
Okay, well, I think physically she really likes my hands for some reason, and she also really likes my freckles. Those are two things that I love about myself because she loves them. Favorite thing about me, I'm not sure what her favorite thing is. There's so many amazing things about me, apparently. She would say my intentionality with a lot of stuff. I try to be intentional with our relationship and also the people that she loves and I now love. So I'd probably say that. All right. So 4, what is her favorite gift you've ever given her? Oh, well, that's not fair. Well, I love giving gifts. That's probably one of my favorite love languages. So one of her favorite gifts that I have given her, she's so not about necessarily like the material gifts. I think I'd just say I write her a lot of poems, and I think she's collected every single one of them. So I'd say it's the kind of the gifts that continue to give, but I continue to write down certain things about her and our life together through poetry, and I'd say that's probably her favorite gifts, are those handwritten notes that I write her, and specifically using my gifting of poetry. So. All right. What is her biggest pet peeve about me? And then what is my biggest pet peeve about her? All right, so biggest pet peeve about me, I'd probably say my hands. For some reason, I don't know what to do with my hands when I'm holding things or eating. I do this weird like limp thing of my hands. You probably don't recognize it, but you'll see it once you watch this video. You'll notice I do it often. My hands are just kind of just limp. It's weird, and it happens. She calls me out when I do it. That's one of the main pet peeves that she has. I'm also very particular about having trash in my car. I don't like having trash or cups or anything spare, and I will go out of my way to make sure it's thrown out, and she says that's too obsessive compulsive. So that's one of her biggest pet peeves. Mine would be when she blows her nose, it's way too loud. I've never noticed a person that can gain that kind of gumption when they're blowing their nose. So I've noticed that about her. Also, her family has said this as well. I think I'll be over on the Heyman's house often, and she'll be like upstairs getting changed or whatever, and she thumps the ground, stomps, and it's the loudest thing ever, and it doesn't matter what time of day, and I'm like, aren't there people up there sleeping? And she is oblivious to it. So she's a very loud stepper and blows her nose hard, very hard. So that's a pet peeve, but there's not too many things I get annoyed of. I've learned to embrace all of them. Question number 6. What are you most excited for about getting married? Wow, the fact that I get to be with my best friend every single day. So I think just even the fact that you get to wake up together and go to sleep together, and getting to just, I don't know, we already spend so much time together, getting to be committed and knowing that we're in a covenant relationship together at all times is just going to be amazing. And I'm just so forward looking to seeing like where we're growing together and how God's going to use us together as a couple, and just our ministry together, but also just getting to spend time with my best friend in every time of the day. It's just going to be awesome, and can continue to do that and build a family. So that's what I'm most excited about. I'm really excited about, being together all the time. When did you know you were going to marry Emma? I had a really strong impression that I was going to be marrying Emma early on. There was something that the Lord just really felt in my heart that I was like, man, she's it. And I think that was one of the main drivers for me to be able to pursue her in the way that I did. And that kind of just was the down payment of as it was building throughout our relationship. And I think within each one of the months that we've been together right now, today, 24 months, I think within each one of those things I have grown, and that feeling has kind of been seasoned throughout just growing and knowing who she is. But I think there wasn't just one moment where I'm like, wow, I'm going to marry her, but I think it's just continued to grow, and the Lord's revealed more and more things about myself that needed to grow, and also within her, and now it just makes sense. Not only that, but I'm just so excited, and I think with each step I've been able to say with more confidence that this is going to be my wife. Number 8, this is the last question I have on my phone here that I'm answering. It is, what is her favorite coffee shop and what would she order? I don't say she has a favorite coffee shop. I don't think she has one. I think she will settle with pretty much any coffee shop that is there. And there's two different things. She's not a coffee snob, which I am for a good amount of times, but I love that about her. But if it's going to be at Starbucks, if it's not a cold brew, which you'll get in the middle of the afternoon as a pick-me-up, it's going to be something like a caramel frap with extra caramel drizzle. She will say drizzle. So if you ever ask her what it is, she will say with extra caramel drizzle. You have to have extra. That's one. And if she's going to go to a coffee shop like a Public Square, which we're at right now, she would get an oat milk latte, and make sure there's just extra powder on there. So whether it's brown sugar or if she's going with just a little bit of a chai, that's what's going to be there as well. But huge thing for her, cold brew. If she's going for a sweet drink, it's going to be with like caramel frap with extra caramel drizzle, and then finally an oat milk latte with extra powder on there as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Dang, look at that, Morgan. So is there one last maybe sentence or just a little something you want to tell her as she's celebrating, getting ready for marriage? Something you want to just leave her with?
Oh man, I absolutely love you. You're my best friend, and oh man, it's so crazy to think it was that we grew up, I don't know, 3,000 miles away from each other, and now we're here in Southern California. And we're getting married now, and who would have known that our personalities would have been perfect for each other, and that we'd find each other, and who knew that my best friend was in California? And I had no clue, wasn't expecting it, but I'm so glad that it's happening.
Awesome.